Hi, everyone. This is Erin Anding, your librarian and site technology facilitator. And I'm here today to go over the first of two presentations about Bitmojis and Google Classrooms and Google Slides and Google Drawings and everything else related to Google. But right now, the big craze in education is the Bitmoji Classroom. And if you can learn how to make a Bitmoji Classroom, you have also learned a large amount of skills related to the Google One and actually the Google 2 um, certification exams. So today we're going to do the basics. We're going to do what is a Bitmoji, how to integrate that into Google products, and in our next presentation, we're going to go over how to actually make the Bitmoji classroom. So I'm going to go into present mode now, and I hope you enjoy. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with our presentation right now. We're going to first do the Google slide. So we're going to view and present. And I was too far early. Oops, there you go. Welcome to the joys of digital learning. But anyway, today we're doing Bitmojis and Google. And my name is Erin Anding. And you'll notice 4 Bitmojis that I created using myself as, I guess you could say, the model. So we got dancing. I'm a librarian, so got the books. I'm sure that'll show up in something throughout the year for me. Me on a swing, just because I like swings. And then this one here, waving, pay special attention to this one because this one is going to show up in one of the slides later on. So by the end of the day, the learner will be able to create and use a Bitmoji and learn how to integrate that Bitmoji into G Suite for education tools to create academic products. Okay. So we first have to learn how to make a Bitmoji, all right? Got a little Bitmoji down here. This one is very popular with teachers who want to eventually animate their Bitmojis into dance moves. So put that one there just as a reminder that there is even more than what I'm going to show you. To create your Bitmoji, you are going to need a smartphone. You're going to have to download the app to your phone. You're going to go to the Google Play Store. Okay, the Google Play Store, you're going to download the app. The app looks like this for Bitmoji. There are other groups out there that are making these type of personal emojis. Facebook just launched its avatar, which was actually in response to Bitmoji. But there are other groups out there, so I'm not saying you have to use this one. This is the one that I've seen most groups, people out there using. It's the one that I use. But always remember to read your terms. Make sure you agree to it. This one actually is related to Snapchat. So make sure you're comfortable with obviously the terms and create your account. It is going to have to be a smartphone. And I'm sure some of you are wondering how Miss Anding managed to do that in 2020 with her flip phone. But we actually do have a smartphone in our house. I just don't bring it to school. So my account is sitting on my husband's phone. But make sure you download the app from the Google Play Store to your phone, read the terms, create the account, and then you're actually going to create your Bitmoji. Have a lot of fun. It can be a little disconcerting, especially if you take the route where you actually pick uh, the parts like which is your nose and your hairstyle, but it's also a lot of fun. Now, once you've downloaded the app, you have to download the app to your smartphone and create your Bitmoji. Now, you could work from that, but what most people are really doing is they are adding the Chrome extension. This is going to make your life a lot easier when you um, decide to make your Bitmoji Classroom. So the Chrome extension, remember, there are apps and there are extensions in Google. And when you're using the Chrome web browser, you can actually fundamentally change your web browsing experience. And you do that with things like extensions. So make sure you've logged into your Google account. And then you're going to go to the Google Chrome Web Store. Okay. And then notice I've kind of got the process right here outlined. You're going to type in Bitmoji while you're on the extension. You're going to find this right here. This is the one I personally used, Bitmoji. And notice this one here, I already have on my account. I've already added to my extension because right now it says rate it and added. But like this one down here, I don't have it. So it says add to Chrome. So that's what you would do is you're going to do the Chrome Web Store. You'll search for Bitmoji under extensions. You're going to find it. You're going to add to Chrome. It's going to say a couple things like this will fundamentally change your browsing experience. Do you accept? Do you accept? And then what you're going to notice is that at the top of your uh, browsing experience, remember this has to be done in the Chrome browser. You can't do this in other things. You will see that you have now added a little icon. That's the extension. It might also be hidden. You might have to like click down, but like mine is sitting right at the top. It's right there. I'm going to have to log into it using the same credentials I used for my app. And once I do that, it's going to sit up there. And it's going to be very simple for me to copy and paste the Bitmoji into a Google slide, a Google drawing, etc. Okay, so remember, first smartphone, Google Play Store, then get on whatever device you plan on using, your laptop, your desktop, whatever. Get into the Chrome browsing experience, log in, go to the Chrome Web Store, and add this extension. Okay, there are a lot of ways to use Bitmojis in education. I'm actually kind of floored by the way people are doing. Every single time I seem to turn around, there's another way people are doing Bitmojis in education. But I'm going to show you some of the ones that I've seen. And even down here with this little one right here, some of the Bitmojis reference pop culture. So obviously right here, the Salvador Dali, an art teacher, a history teacher could obviously use their Bitmoji right here, asking the kids a question about why is the person laying down, what's going on, who created the piece, what's being referenced, etc. Okay, so that's one way right there. Another way is to do the full blown like this I made in Google Slides. And you're actually going to see this again. I really like to use this political cartoon. I used to use it when I taught seventh grade history. But right here, I've got my little person down here. I've given the instructions for what they need to answer in the little, bubble. They got to look at analyze the political cartoon. Right down here is the grading system. Very, very simple way for them to analyze a political cartoon. Another way to do it is just to have the political cartoon or the image or whatever it is you want them to look at, and maybe just add like a little icon up here. Here I've got the magnifying glass, and while it's cute and it's funny, maybe in my classroom culture and my guidelines, this little person stands for something. Maybe every time you see that, you're supposed to analyze it and then discuss it using the CER model or something of that nature. So right here, just a little something on the side. Another way, a lot of teachers are doing virtual field trips. That is one of the great features about some of the platforms our district has bought into, like Nearpod, is they can take virtual field trips. But if for some reason that doesn't work for you or you want them to do more, you can create virtual field trips. A lot of teachers are doing that to make up right now for the field trips their kids missed. Like my son was supposed to go to the zoo. So he's very specifically asking me over the summer if we do one thing, he really wants to go to the zoo because that's what he should have done as a class. Another option would have been something like this. So got my little where you are. A lot of teachers took their kids to Disney World at the end of distance learning this year. So, there you go, give you an idea. So right here's the Roman Forum, and I could have a whole series of slides where the kids are looking at the Roman Forum. I could also do it this way. Added a little person here, and then I'm actually adding a true virtual field trip. This has become one of my little pet crazes during the lockdown is I love to travel and I love to get out, but obviously that's not really happening. So you can take virtual walks, you can take virtual drives, you can take my son actually took a train ride through Montenegro. He sat and they did uh they put it in the conductor and it actually showed exactly what the conductor was doing. So right now, this is how people actually you can these are called treadmill walks. So right now, instead of doing the other way for the Roman Forum, we're actually going to walk through a Roman Forum. This is, and actually walk around. This one actually even has captions. So we could take a true virtual field trip. Another way people are using this, I'm not going to go through this, but if you Google this person and you say how to make digital Bitmoji stickers in Google Drawings, this particular one is being done from somebody called Hello Teacher Lady on YouTube. These can be made in Google Drawings, or in Google Slides. If you can do one, you can do the other. But what this teacher has done is she is obviously an elementary teacher, and elementary kids like their stamps and they like their stickers on their papers. And as she's grading their stuff in Google Docs and Google, Slides and stuff like that, she is actually adding her own personal Bitmoji stickers, and that's one of the ways she's giving them feedback is with the stickers. To give you an idea of how they look. Oops. See them right down here? She is making those and she is adding those as types of feedback. And while I know we teach middle and high school, I have a funny feeling our kids would actually enjoy this as well. When you're not in your digital classroom, but just even in your classroom, you can make signs and you can make things. So, like this could go on your active board for when you're in testing mode. So, notice what it says: you are now taking a test. Put your cell phones away and on silent. Remain quiet until every student has finished. Begin reading chapter 6 of The Great Gatsby when you're done. You've definitely set out your expectations for how you want your testing environment to go. And well, nobody can say you didn't tell them with you in the side saying shush. This doesn't necessarily apply to us because we don't have Gmail, but as a heads up, Bitmojis are now integrating with things like Gmail. So, on my personal account, uh, we can now integrate the Bitmoji. So that could go into, my signature or something in the email. You can also create posters, flyers, classroom documents, and more with your Bitmoji. So for example, here I made a very basic, classroom rules. This whole thing here is the Bitmoji itself. If when you type into Bitmoji, it will give you some, you use like a search term, it will give you some that relate to it, but then it'll also randomly pick some and take the words you use. So I use class rules and put it right there on top of several random Bitmojis. This one I find very interesting. Remember how I said pay attention to the person, my Bitmoji waving in the beginning? There are teachers out there who are taking the vinyl and the crickets, and they are creating their own vinyl Bitmoji that they're putting onto their class doors. They're putting it onto their dry erase boards. They're putting it into their centers. If you know someone who can do this, great. If not, I've looked it up, and on Etsy, if you send people your Bitmoji for a couple of dollars, they will send you back your vinyl Bitmoji for your classroom. So tons of ways this stuff is being used. All right, so how to use a Bitmoji and G Suite for Education tools to make academic products. I'm going to go through a couple of things for reference, and then I'm actually going to go make one for you. What you need to know is the dimensions of the product you want to use. A good place to look that up is canva.com or digital and paper product dimensions. I use canva.com. There's a free version and you can also pay for, extras. But I've been using canva.com for the last couple of years for our website and our Facebook. And so when you see me put a Facebook image, it's actually coming from Canva. I've used it so much at this point, I can actually recognize when other companies are using Canva for their advertising products, like my son's school, not my son, my daughter's preschool. I knew the moment that they learned Canva because of the flyers they started putting up. And they're like, oh, yes, we love it. We just learned about it. So a good place, canva.com. There are others out there. So from Canva, I'll give you an example. A Facebook post is 940 by 788 pixels. A YouTube channel banner art, if you end up making a YouTube channel for distance learning, is 2560 by 1440 pixels. A YouTube thumbnail, 1280 by 720 pixels. Instagram post, 1080 by 1080 pixels. And then here's the one we're actually going to use today, which is Google Classroom banner. A banner is 800 by 200 pixels. But, check these things out. You can also obviously Google these things, but the digital dimensions are important, or the paper dimensions if you're going to use it for like a poster. So important steps to take. You can actually do tons in Google Drawings and Google Slides if you use the following. So you're going to change the dimensions under File. This is specific, by the way, this is specifically for Google Slides, but it's very, very closely related to Google Drawings. You're going to change the dimensions under File, Page Setup. We will do that. You're going to change the background under Slide and then change Background. You're going to add images with Insert. The very, very important word in this case is transparent. You're going to crop the images by clicking on them and then using this icon. You're going to fine tune your design with the following under the header Arrange. You can order, you can rotate, you can group. I will show those. And you can really fine tune an image by clicking on it and then clicking on Format Options on the toolbar. That will only appear if you click on the image. You're going to have to add your Bitmoji to the design at some point. So remember to log into the extension if you have not already. You're going to search for your Bitmoji. Like I said earlier on the class rules, some Bitmojis will add the search term to the Bitmoji. Now here's the deal. Bitmoji, remember, is connected to Snapchat. So not all Bitmojis are appropriate for school, but you can make most of them appropriate or more to fit what you're doing if you crop them. So for example, I will show you when I do Bitmoji Classroom, one that I'm using that they put like lots of little stars all around, and I didn't need the stars, so I just cropped the stars out, and then it was perfectly fine for what I was using it for. Here's the one thing I don't like about Bitmoji. The librarian in me wants controlled vocabulary, we want very specific search terms and tags, but remember this is for a social media app. So just because you want something, the search terms might be a little difficult to find. Okay. Um, the Facebook group I belong to has asked each other what were some of the best words they used for the things they were doing. And most would say that the best word they could use was pose. So if you're just looking for various poses, someone clapping, someone cheering, someone standing, someone sitting, the word pose is a really good one. Dance is a good one. That's how I got the dance one earlier. Wave, book will get you all the ones that someone's holding a book. Okay, so think about that when you're searching through the Bitmoji extension. When in doubt, don't give up. You can always video chat me, call me, text me, something. When in doubt, Google it. There are multiple times in this presentation that I got my answer by Googling it. Someone out there has answered it. Last but certainly not least, remember how I said Bitmoji Craze? This Facebook group is out there. It is a private group, but you can be in about 3 seconds. It's called Bitmoji Craze for Educators. It's on Facebook. And I was thinking it had 20, 30,000 members, but just a day or two ago, they announced that they had 80,000 members. So that gives you an idea of how many people are using this right now, especially as we enter the world of distance learning. Okay. Um, the stuff these people are coming up with is incredible. They have everything from fantasy worlds to virtual field trips to Google Classrooms to you name it, someone's out there doing it. And if not, they will answer for you. Okay, so that might be a resource worth considering. Now, I will go back to this slide at the very end, but please mark your attendance and help me improve by going to http, s colon backslash backslash tinyurl.com backslash GOMHS Bitmojis in Google. Okay. So that's tinyurl.com backslash GOMHS Bitmojis in Google. Okay. That'll be for marking your attendance and to give me an idea of what else you guys would want as we continue this year and possibly uncharted territory. But anyway, thank you. Now let me show you how to do what I just said. Okay, so we're going to make a Google banner here. So I've opened up a Google slide that is, just a basic Google slide. I am probably not going to need this stuff, so I'm going to delete this. Now remember, we're going to make a Google banner for a Google Classroom. Okay. Now remember, I said File, Page Setup. The first thing we need to do is change the size of this. This is the default widescreen 16:9, but you can change that. And we are going to go to Custom. So we said that a banner was 800 by 200. Notice not inches, that's totally off. We have inches, centimeters, points, and pixels. So it is, oh, but see, I was doing it in inches. So give you a heads up, put it in pixels first. Okay, you can do the same thing in Google Drawings if you feel more comfortable there. Notice how it has changed the dimensions completely. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to Slide and change the background. By the way, it is also here, but Slide, change background. Now I can do an image, I can do a color. Okay, and I'm going to pick this color for whatever reason. And done. Okay, so now my background has been changed. And that's good because I can't move that. That is fundamentally set. I have to actually go up and change it again. Now, I'm going to show you my demo here, and I want to talk about something. I got some of you intrigued by Google Classrooms by sending out a sample classroom banner. And if you remember it, it had the entire space filled up. This is me learning. And I had over here my desk, and I had over here a chair, and a bookcase right here. The problem was when I uploaded it, the dimensions were perfect. But you got to think about right here, this information. Okay. And now I understand why Google puts their little images over here. This stuff got in the way. So think about that if you're making a banner. So I'm going to stick to this area here. Now I'm thinking of a potential library classroom. So I am going to look for stuff that looks like maybe I'm reading. So I'm going to go to Insert, Image. In this case, now I could already have what I need somewhere else, but I'm going to search the web. And I want, let's just see here now. I'm going to say a potted plant. I'm going to sit here and make something that looks like I'm kind of reading in a nice corner. I'm going to say transparent. Notice transparent background, transparent. Like this one here, insert it. And this is nice, but remember, this is where the information for the Google Classroom is. So maybe I should, move it around. I'm going to move it over here. And I want to read next to this plant. It feels very relaxing to me. So I'm going to read, let's say. So I'm going to go to my Bitmoji. Remember the term that we liked is book. So here I look very comfy. I'm going to copy the image. I'm going to paste it. And the wrong section for me. So I'm going to move it over here. Right now, that potted plant looks huge compared to me. It has a very, very large potted plant. So I'm going to bring me up a little bit. I'm going to try and put it nearby, but notice maybe I don't want to be, that looks a little weird to me. The plant looks like it's behind me. I'm not saying that's bad, but let's arrange. So I'm going to go up here. Remember, we talked about arranging. There's order. I can't do grouping. Grouping is where I group stuff together. I have to click on more than one, but I can rotate and I can order. But I'm going to order right now, and I'm going to say I want this potted plant to bring to front. I don't know. That appeals to me more. So now I've got my nice little potted plant. I'm reading with a nice, I don't know, I don't drink coffee, so hot cocoa. But maybe I need a little bit of light. So once again, I'm going to go to Insert Image, search the web. And we might have to play with our search terms. That might get me what I want, might not get me what I want. I could always do the thing from, the Christmas movie. This doesn't get me what I want, but maybe I want, instead of lampstand, I'll do lamp. A whole different set of stuff. Ooh, that looks interesting. Once it kind of came over, that's probably the right size for me, but that looks off. So I'm going to go to Arrange. I'm going to go over, but this time I'm going to send it backwards. Or send it to the back. By sending it to back, I got it all the way back to where I needed it. So here, it looks like a nice little, afternoon reading. I've got a little bit of greenery. I've got my hot cocoa, my book, my beanbag chair, and my light. So let's say I think I'm done. Looks like it'll kind of fit into this world right here. At this point, obviously, I'd probably want to give it a title. So, classroom banner sample. And in this particular situation, not all, but in this particular situation, I'm now going to download. I'm going to go to File, Download. Notice all the different ways you can download. Maybe make a JPEG or a PNG, but those are images. So I'm going to download. It came through. I'm going to go to my demo classroom and see where it says Select Theme and Upload Photo. I'm going to go to Upload Photo. I'm going to select a photo from my computer. I'm going to go to Downloads. Here it is. Now, there's one thing I want you to recognize. Okay, if I didn't like, I could always go back and adjust. If I thought that was too low, I could always adjust it. There's one thing I need you to understand that I realized once I uploaded my sample into the Classroom banner, and that is this. Notice all of this is very readable. I'm over here, it looks nice, but notice the difference. This one was lighter than this one. And that got me really annoyed. And so I followed my own advice and I Googled it. I was like, why is this so much darker? Found out that this is actually how Google has set up the classroom banners for right now. They purposely have added a bit of darkness here to make this stand more out. Makes perfect sense, but it kind of annoys me. So I asked, I looked around and, Googled it and found several people gave the suggestion of brightening this in a photo editor. I haven't played with that yet, but that's something. If this, first of all, if this doesn't bother you, go with it. An option, but if it does, you might be able to brighten it with a photo editor program. You could always do some trainings on that if you wanted. Another option would be, and it was highly encouraged by the person who was responding, who is a trainer and an innovator, that you should correspond this to Google. Okay, Google is highly responsive to people's input. They update multiple times a year. And if enough people out there, remember there's 80,000 people right now in just that one Facebook group, said, hey, I don't want it where it's darkened up. They might come up with an update where it doesn't do that. So these are things to think about. But right now I have a nice little classroom banner for, a Google Classroom, a library one. Remember, if I there are some more things I could have done. This one works for me, but give you a few ideas. We could rotate it. I could have flipped. I don't like that, but I could have. Send it back. And remember I said you can even do more to it. For example, this one. Okay. Format options. I can rotate it. I can change its size. I can change its position. This one's interesting. I was shocked by this one. Recolor. Right now, there's no color, but let's say I didn't like that. Now, to me, that looks like a perfect fine plan. But I can change it if I want. Maybe I wanted this to be like a black and white photo. There you go. I can change that. I can undo that. I can add a reflection right down here. So let's say I was kind of doing like something in the water. I could have a reflection. I don't think I really need one here, but let's say maybe this was a couch or this was a chair. Maybe we want a little bit of shadow. Notice how the shadow came in and they shadowed the leaves a little bit. Lots of things you can do to change your image. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. You should be able now to make a Bitmoji. You should be able to manipulate a Google slide or a Google drawing to change its size, to change its background. Remember, when you insert, you're going to make sure that the images you use are transparent. Transparent, if I didn't say it, is because you don't get like that white background. Okay, it's just the image that you need. Okay, you can manipulate with things like order and format and group and rotate. There are several ways that you can assist yourself. You can, phone a friend like me. You can Google it, which obviously I did. You can join that Facebook group. Okay. This is the basics. Next time we meet, I'm actually going to show you how to put that into what's being called the Bitmoji Classroom with hyperlinks, activities, etc., as a way to kind of create a digital classroom out there that might mimic your physical classroom or could create an entirely different world. I look forward to hearing from you. Please mark your attendance and help me to improve by giving me suggestions of what I need to do at tinyurl.com/GOMHS, Bitmojis and Google. Thank you so much.